Happy Sunday. It is officially Christmas Eve, if I'm saying that correctly. I am going on very little sleep. I got in from Nashville around 4 o'clock this morning. I went to the Southern Underground Pro Show last night out at the Basement East. It was my first time going to a show live and in person after watching several shows of theirs on IWTV. And it was just a great night. It was the whole, Christmas themed show without giving too much away because it's going to be on IWTV. It's going to be aired there. But very fun, very festive. Jaden Newman wore a onesie. That's one of the first things I noticed when I came in. I was like, oh yeah, we're going to have a nice show tonight. So that was fun. Got to meet Big Twan Tucker after seeing a few of his matches. And he is huge dude, really big. And shook my hand. The first person to shake my hand when I walked through the door. So that was awesome. Got to meet him. And just the show overall. You had Mr. Brickster back. He was doing his return match, was in the main event. He's got such great energy. Glad to know that guy. He's awesome. And I would like to start going with more people to the Southern Underground Pro shows. So, and it's hard to, kind of get things going. But I think what I might do is organize like a meetup. Because it is a 5-hour drive going to Little Rock. And you never know, you can pick up people from here to there who might be interested in seeing an independent wrestling show. But I am interested in bringing more people to these shows, not just me, because right now it's just me. And I feel like, well, if I could spread the word, it'd be nice. Have more viewers, have more people to travel with. Not necessarily that that's a good thing, though, having more people to travel with you. That could be good. It's good for safety, but it's not so good for convenience. I've always been better traveling by myself because, honestly, you don't have to make that many plans. You just plan for yourself. But, yeah, it is wise to travel in a group, so I think I'm going to do that. I'm going to start up a meetup or get on the meetup app and find people that want to go ride to wrestling shows out in Nashville. So, or, elsewhere. We got St. Louis and outside of St. Louis, which is about the same distance away, maybe about 5.5 hours. And then, of course, you got Texas, Austin. I should see if there's somebody that wants to ride out to GCW, which would be great next month. But, just starting up a travel group here in the Mid-South. Sounds like something fun. Sounds like a resolution for 2020. And other things going on. It's been a wild-ass week in wrestling. Going back to Wednesday on AEW Dynamite, at the end, of course, you had the whole Dark Order initiation segment, and you had one of the masked wrestlers who apparently didn't know he was right on hard cam, just throwing the worst punches on poor Dustin Rhodes. And it's kind of snowballed into a shit thing. That's the best way I can explain it. I think people kind of take this and run with it. They like to make mountains out of molehills when it comes to things like that. They always, when you have a competitive nature between the two promotions like we do with AEW and WWE, even the slightest misstep or the slightest, mishap like this is going to be magnified, is going to be blown up and blown out of proportion. And it is to this day, still a couple of days later, we're still talking about this. And I'm of the mind that, wrestlers, especially if you're like an indie veteran, or even if you've been in a promotion for a few years, or if you've been in WWE development for a few years, you're still gonna make mistakes. Now, not as grave as that one. I'm pretty sure most, know when they're working the hard cam. But nobody is above error, That's why we have botchmania. I mean, that botchmania has been going on for years because everybody still fucks up. Everybody still makes mistakes. And even if it was a big grievance like this one that, just flat out exposes the business, you got to remember, we have footage of just about every wrestler out there doing something to fuck up. Nobody is above reproach here. So, and especially to the fans, I mean, half the fans who get in the ring, their punches probably would have looked like that. So it's one thing for a fan to say something, that kind of, whatever, bullshit. But for the professionals, for the athletes, the wrestlers that have taken to social media and commented on this with, rather harsh comments, I think it's kind of like what Eric Cannon, and Eric Cannon is so great. If you haven't seen it, of course, he, quote unquote, stepped forward. He had his I am Spartacus moment. And he claimed that he was the one in the mask and he was trying to protect Dustin because he was already busted open, something like that. And apparently Dustin believed him. I mean, that's the thing about this. The guy was wearing a mask and we don't know, even a few days later, who it was. And good. I mean, I hope his identity is never revealed because honestly, you don't want to be that guy. Nobody does, especially after this has got blown out of proportion. But Dustin believed that it was Eric Cannon, and so did a lot of other people. You saw it on news sites. And it's funny. I guess some people still believe that. But Eric Cannon ended up saying the responses that he got after claiming that he was one in the mask, it ranged from, great wrestling fans to basically the worst wrestling fans. So you could see in their responses what kind of fan or what kind of worker, I guess, they are, by how they responded to this. And, like I said, I hope we never find out who the guy was. And honestly, it could have been anybody. We know it was an indie guy. We know it was a veteran, one who probably hadn't worked a lot of TV, but worked a lot of shows. And honestly, I guess that's all we need to know. It'll eventually die. The next big fuck up will happen. Let's see, what's today? Sunday. We'll see it tomorrow probably. And, life will go on. But it's interesting to know that we are in this kind of a era now in wrestling where now we're over scrutinizing things. We've seen this before. If you go back 20 years or you had, if somebody did something really stupid during the Monday Night Wars, it would get magnified, blown out of proportion, and forgotten, basically. A lot of the stupid shit that happened in the Attitude Era is largely glossed over. So this is not something that's going to be remembered 20 years from now, I'm sure. But it's amazing how we kind of cycled back to that era in wrestling. But everything in wrestling is cyclical. Everything goes in a circle. So that's how that goes. Other things going on. That was the big AEW thing. NXT has really stepped up their game. And good for them. The matches, they're putting on like takeover quality shows. And hopefully they can sustain that, while they're building their new characters. And if they could do, and I've said this so many times, if they could do this and have that same energy for Raw or SmackDown, I think WWE would be going huge into WrestleMania, with just making people interested in watching. I went back and watched SmackDown before I left for Nashville on Saturday. And of course, I didn't watch the whole episode. I just kind of watched bits and pieces. But once again, it just feels like everything coming out of that Survivor Series, it just didn't match with what we're seeing now. It's almost like, okay, Survivor Series was its own kind of standalone thing. Here we are back on SmackDown. Not that it wasn't interesting. I mean, I'm still very interested in what Daniel Bryan's doing. So SmackDown does have its own, stories going forward. But, yeah, I'm just not feeling what's going on Raw or SmackDown right now. It's kind of the Wednesday night and Thursday night thing for me, as far as wrestling's going. And, of course, the independent scene. So, yeah, kind of going into Christmas, you have a whole lot going on. You have GCW teaming up with Beyond the day after Christmas later this week. GCW's got their show, and then, of course, Beyond's got their show. So it's going to be cool to see them team up. And it's going to be simulcast. It's going to be airing on both Fight TV and on IWTV. So that's going to be really fun. Nice little Christmas present from those promotions. And going into Christmas, of course, I'm not going to do the midweek musings this week because it's going to be the holiday and I'm going to be off doing my own thing. But just wishing everybody well. Hopefully you're someplace with loved ones, or if you're not with loved ones, hopefully you're in a place of peace where you can enjoy yourself. And when I say enjoy yourself, I mean that in every way possible. But I also mean to be happy, as happy as you can be. This is a very difficult time of year for many people, even for people who are among loved ones. It can be difficult because situations are different for everybody. And you've got people that have years and years of trauma, and they feel obligated to ruin their own holiday because somebody told them, you have to go see this family member, even if they, were abusive, or if they weren't the best, they were neglectful in some way. It's okay to not obligate yourself to spend time with people who have caused you that trauma. I don't know who needs to hear that, but it's a thing. And that counts for Christmas. If you feel like your part of healing is to be alone, then be alone. And if it hurts you being alone for the holidays, just know that you're definitely not the only person spending the holidays by yourself. And I hope for you that you can find a place within yourself to at least find some joy in the day, knowing that you're here. And at least somebody is thinking about you. I'm definitely thinking about those people that don't have anybody. But yeah, I'm hoping everybody's well for the holidays. And after we're done with that, going into the new year, I've got to get my resolutions together, and then I guess I'll tell y'all some of them. But Merry Christmas and Happy Hanukkah, or whatever you're celebrating. I still say Merry Christmas, but of course I know there's other celebrations and gatherings and things going on out there. Whatever you're celebrating, I'm hoping you're having a great time. Well, stay loved, stay happy, and watch some damn wrestling.